Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now over the years, I'm sure you've seen on a lot of pieces of content that I've made, I've demonstrated some of my finger pistoling skills. It's something that here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands is incredibly, it's a culture here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands. It's incredibly rich. You will find that the finger pistoling community is just so big. It really is. But I just want to be clear that there is a difference between the Kingdom of the Moorlands here, where I live. We are a landlocked country within the realms of England, but finger pistoling in England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland is completely different. Some of the laws in those other countries are a lot more harsher than they are here within the Kingdom of the Moorlands, but it was something that it was the statute that it was set up in 6000 BC that the first Moorlander, he said, no, you have the right to finger pistol, and nobody can certainly take that away from you. So just thought I'd just give you a little bit of background, a little bit of information. Some of the information you may have seen on other channels, but I think really there are some myths around finger pistoling. Now the first one is that finger pistoling in the UK is illegal. Now I say the UK is the wider group. Finger pistoling isn't illegal. Anybody can own a finger pistol. You don't need to register it or anything like that. But there are certain rules around calibers that, I mean, you can start finger pistoling from a very early age. So one of the first calibers that finger pistolers will probably come up against is this one, which is 22 phalange. Now 22 phalange is a rim-fire pistol that generally is used from a, now don't worry, this isn't loaded at this moment in time. So if I show some of these hammer strikes, it's not actually loaded right now, but it's rim-fire and generally used through a hammer strike. A lot of youngsters will start off finger pistoling like this. It's a practice that has been used by a lot of people. I first started finger pistoling with 22 phalange. When you get to a certain age, now, when I say a certain age, it's not really about whether you're, once you're 16, you can go up to the higher ones. Mainly, it's when you get pubes. Once you start to get pubic hair, then you're allowed to move up to the next level. So here we have. So generally, there's two other rounds that prefer to get used after that. You've got 9mm index, or you've got 45 metacarpal. Two varying rounds. Some people are 9mm. Shit, what was it? 9mm index, 9mm index, or 45 metacarpal. There's a bit of a warring faction between the two subgroups. But this is it's a striker fire. Personally, I find it a little bit easier to manipulate, and I mean there are other rounds out there. There are some specialist pistols. So like I say, so we've got the 22 phalange. But then you might also come across this finger pistol. Now, a lot of people think that this is a double caliber. This could potentially be 9mm plus your 22 phalange. It's not. It's actually this is referred to as the shocker because it also involves a taser. So what you can do is, if needs be, if you want to not use as much force, you have to be gentle with this one. As I say, with it being the shocker. But yes, so this is actually a taser on this part, and this is for the main kind of finger blasting, which is it's a very crude way of calling finger pistoling. Certainly have to be careful with this pistol. Mainly because, although the shocker refers to the taser part of it, a lot of people don't appreciate being tased whilst being shot. Like there's some strange disconnect between the two. But you know, if you're the type of person that's into that sort of trouble, then I'm sure you'll appreciate that, you know, things have to be done. Now we definitely do have different rules here as well, and these are specific to the Kingdom of the Moorlands, completely different in the rest of the UK, you know, as I say, you know, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales. Generally, finger pistoling can't be done in public, and there are specific rules around how your finger pistol can be carried. Here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands, nothing like that whatsoever. We don't worry about that, as it's your right to be able to protect yourself. So you can conceal carry wherever that needs to be. It can be appendix, it can be around the back, it can be to the side. If it's underneath a shirt or jacket, that's fine. You can withdraw it from underneath, and you know that's certainly good as well. You can also open carry if you want to just rock it, just whatever, just real kind of nonchalant. Because if you need to use it whenever it needs to be used, if you feel that a concealed carry will restrict the way in which you can get to your finger pistol, that's fine. Another kind of subgroup, I suppose, of your CCW, or you know, your concealed carry finger pistoling, pocket pistoling. So it's fine. Again, you don't necessarily need a holster. It's one of the beauties between finger pistoling and real steel firearms. Real steel firearms, because of the weight of that firearm, and I think pocket pistoling is probably the best way, mainly because if you had a real steel firearm in your pocket, it might be difficult to withdraw if needed. They're quite cumbersome, and they just kind of float around whilst in there. Whereas with a finger pistol, it's a lot easier to be able to withdraw. In fact, it's almost as though pockets were designed for finger pistoling. It's crazy in that respect. But I mean, pockets were invented here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands in 12 BC anyway, so it makes perfect sense that after nearly 6,000 years of finger pistoling, that you know we'd invent a pocket, which would be a receptacle that you could either put something in, or you could put your into as well. Now, I always recommend following safe practices once it's been withdrawn, making sure that it's not loaded. Now, I will say, so all of these that we've been looking at today, these are definitely not loaded. But again, that's just a practice that once you get into finger pistoling is definitely a good thing to do. Now, I hope that's helped. I hope it's given you a bit of an introduction to finger pistoling. Now, I do know finger pistoling isn't just, although it was invented here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands, and you know we've took it to exceptional degrees of what's the word? We're just the best at it in the world, of course, because it's the Kingdom of the Moorlands. But I know that there are a lot of other finger pistoling practitioners around the world, so I'd love to hear some comments from you if you enjoy finger pistoling. Men, women, children of all ages can certainly do this. But yeah, I hope that just gives you a little bit of information about, you know, my love for, well, actually I've not really got into my love for it. It started really from a young age. What am I now, 43, I can't remember, 44. I've dedicated easily 40 years of my life to finger pistoling so that I can be the best that I possibly can do. It's a very easy pastime to be able to get into. Certainly when you think about the costs, introduction costs, you know, they're practically next to nothing. Ammunition nowadays is a lot cheaper than kind of real steel ball or what, you know, whatever it is that you're shooting. It's very, very easy to get into, but what I will say is, with a caveat with this, is although yes, it's very easy to get into, it takes a lot of dedication to master and to be the best that you possibly can be. But when you're practicing, what I would say is make sure that you always have a trained finger pistoler around you, and make sure that you are finger pistoling within an environment that is safe. We don't want any negligent discharges, we don't want anybody losing an ear or, well, some of the crazy shit I've seen over the years that's happened from finger pistoling is just, yeah, some really deep wounds just gushing fluid from them. So yeah, so you have to be very, very careful, but as long as you do it within a controlled environment when you're starting to learn finger pistoling, it's a hobby or a pastime that can take you well into, see, so dual wielding. That's really is the next step. Maybe I'll do that in another video on another day. One myth to dispel: you see a lot of people finger rifling. Now I will say that both of these are 22 phalange pistols. I find it infuriating that people like to imitate finger rifling. I will never understand why you would put a firearm behind another firearm to imitate that. It's reckless and irresponsible. If you see people finger rifling, then you know that they're just full of BS, because that's just they're just pantomiming finger pistoling at the end of the day, and it's, yeah. There's a bit of a kind of a break between the finger pistoling community, which, you know, we're dedicated to this pastime, and the finger rifling community that are just weirdos running around pointing their fingers at things, which fucking immature. So yeah, there you go. I thought I'd touch on it, bring it up maybe a little bit, and yeah, I'd love to hear what do you like to finger pistol, and if you're part of a finger pistol club, anything like that. I'd love to hear how the difference in finger pistoling communities around the world goes. So yeah, I'll leave some links below to the the Kingdom of the Moorlands National Finger Pistoling Registry. No, because, you know, I don't know where I was going with that one. Anyway, yes, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. 10:30. A while since I've been out this early. Sun's reasonably low today, so it's probably going to be a lot of me squinting a lot. And, of course, talking to myself in the middle of the woods. Oh, Mr. Robin's back. It is slightly different in the UK, mainly England, Ireland, England, oh fuck, I always get England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales. Let's do that way again. Probably waffled a little bit too much on that one. Nobody's going to sit through nearly 15 minutes of me talking about finger pistoling. I'll put it out, just for a laugh. So yeah, there you go. Maybe I'll take some nice photos of the different finger pistols. What I really want is for the next advancements in underbarrel lights for finger pistols. Finger pistoling in the dark is incredibly difficult. Sometimes when it's done in a lot of dark situations, generally undercover. So you definitely have to be careful. Yeah, there you go, finger pistoling. That's different. That was a click beforehand. That's not a 22 phalange. Nearly shot my camera. See you in a bit.